meet this guy. He's a young kid in Thomasville, Adam Choice, and to see their transformation into who they are, and you know that they've had some ups and some downs, but just seeing them as men now, and to know that they're, you know, just so well equipped for what's going to come next. And you know, I've just enjoyed all of my time with them. You know, these guys have been here 4 and 5 years, and it's special. It really is. Everything to me comes back to relationships, and these are guys that I know I'll have relationships with for the rest of our lives. It's sad. It's sad because you know they got to go. You know, and you're like, man, it's going to be my last Thanksgiving with these guys. You know, they'll be somewhere else next year, just like, you know, our guys last year. I miss those guys. But, you know, it's also comforting, too, though, because I know that they're prepared and that they'll do great in life. And you can, you know, take some pride in knowing that you kind of helped them along the way. But they've just brought me a lot of joy. It's been a ton of fun being with them. Obviously, we've won a bunch of games and all that stuff, and they've been great players. But it's a group that I'm gonna miss. It's definitely the biggest group I've had. But it'll be a special night getting to see them. We'll honor them individually Saturday night, and then in our last game they'll come down as a group, you know, and one last time. So it'll be special.
Coach, the longer you coach, does it ever get easier to say goodbye to seniors?
No. I think it gets harder, to be honest with you. It's, you know, you just get close to these guys. I mean, we spend a ton of time together. I mean, a ton of time. You're with these guys, and it's, you know, and then when it comes time, the seniors just has always been special to me. Those guys, they're the most invested. They've been here. They've done the right things. These guys are all going to be graduates, and you know, just it does not get easier. Just like, you know, I had one kid leave my house, and it wasn't any easier when Drew left the house, and it won't be any easier when Clay. It'll be worse when Clay leaves. So I just think that you know, you love these guys, and I mean, it's awesome having them as players, obviously, but just being around them as people and seeing the commitment and the work ethic and the leadership and just the total transformation is special.
Do you see any of these underclassmen that may step into those leadership roles?
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
so who would they be?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a bunch of those guys. I mean, we got a great junior class, got a tremendous junior class. But you know, that's always the fun part for me too, is starting over and trying to, you know, it's a new team and new chemistry and new leadership and new roles. Some roles carry over, but we still start over. So I'm just focused on where I'm at and enjoying today and these last moments that we have with this group.
How much credit do you give that senior group with the consistency you guys have been able to have had this year? I mean, obviously consistency over 4 years for them,
yep.
But this year it seems like a different level of consistency every week.
Yeah, well, it all matters. I mean, you know, when they were freshmen, there was a group of seniors and juniors around here that were pretty good too, and so that's why they're in this position to do what they're doing, because what they did as a freshman matters. What they did as sophomores matters, and what they did as juniors, and that's kind of what we do here. That's how we maintain that consistency, is we create that buy-in, and our culture drives a lot of that. I mean, these freshmen that are here, they're competing with that senior class, you know, and if you can't go back and be a freshman again, but it's going to carry over with you, you know, you're going to have to own everything that you did as a freshman and as a sophomore and as a junior and so forth. So it's pretty cool. I think this will be like the fourth or fifth class in a row that's leaving here as the winningest senior class ever. You know, so is it the fifth? This will be the fifth senior class in a row that has won up the previous senior class. So they're competitive that way. They take a lot of pride in that. But again, they're in this position because of the leadership prior to them. You know, I mean, when Christian was a freshman, and you know, those senior leaders, and and they grow and develop and nurture, and that's what these guys have done. That's probably the thing that I think is so special about this particular group, is they have really taken ownership of what they're leaving behind, more so than probably any group I've had. Like, it's really important to them how they're impacting the young players on this team, the standard, the model that they take pride in that, and it's very unique to see. So we'll have a bunch of guys that'll be ready to step up next year and fill these roles. But the best part is they've had a great model for it, and that's how you maintain consistency.
Speaking of leadership on the offensive side of the ball, it seems like a quieter group. Is there a dominant personality?
I just think it's a cohesive group. It's a really close group. That offensive line and the backs and Trevor and Chase, I mean, the receivers, they're just a real close group. But we have great leadership. I mean, Mitch and John and Fauci and Ankrum and Pollard and Gage are just really strong veteran guys and all good leaders. They all believe in Trevor and what's going on there. They believe in Chase, and then those backs, the selflessness there. Hunter and Travion at wideout, they've given great leadership there. And I mean, it's just a close group. It's a little different. It's not as vocal, but a really close group that trusts each other.
As you continue to build the program and recruit more of those 3-and-done track guys, how does that change how a senior class comes together and the dynamics in it, and maybe how does it change how you relate to those guys as they're coming through and establishing themselves?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had a few of those 3-and-done guys, but I still think those are more the exception than the rule. I think, from a senior standpoint, to me, it's about academics. I mean, Deshaun was here 3 years, but he graduated. I mean, like Christian was a senior last year because he graduated in December last year. So we honored him. He wasn't sure if he was coming back or not, and he really didn't know. And so we went ahead and he's my first 2-time curtain call guy. As I said, that's kind of classic Christian Wilkins, isn't it? So maybe that'll be a new trend. I'll have some guys that we have to honor twice because we're not sure. Like Garrett Williams is an example. We're gonna honor him this week because he's not sure if he's going to be back. We certainly want him back, but he's got he wants to go in the military, and he's got a process in that, and he's not ready to make a decision. But you don't want to miss out on that opportunity too. He's already graduated, so we got a couple guys like that. But you got to be a guy that's graduated already, or a 4th-year guy, or a 3-year guy that's got your degree by December. So, but whether you're with them 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, you just try to maximize that time. And if a guy's leaving here after 3 years, he's probably pretty dang special on the field. We haven't had many guys leaving after 3 years that aren't, but it still comes back to just staying committed to how we do things in our program.
Are there any characteristics of these players that you see in high school that you can tell, like, they're like this in high school or that in high school, so they're going to be a good leader coming up, or is it something they kind of grow in while they're here?
Both. There's definitely a lot of, they're young people. When we're seeing these are 16, 17-year-old young people that are being shaped and molded every single day, and some of them they only know what they know, and so we have to project sometimes. But the biggest thing is just what kind of person are they? I mean, yeah, there's some kids you can see pretty quickly that, hey, they're a natural leader, a great leader. They may be in a leadership role there. There's other kids that are really talented, but they're not as confident in that. But we have to make but they're a good person, and that's what I always tell people. We recruit people first, players second. And, so we try to do a great job with who's coming in the door here. And then, and then a great job in developing them and in establishing kind of a baseline of where they are, and then because they're all different, and then helping them grow into their potential.
How comfortable are you with the level of adversity that your team has gone through this season, going into the stretch drive, and not only that, but how do you believe you've handled it with the limited amount of adversity that you had basically earlier in the year?
Oh, we've had our share of adversity, so I think our guys have handled it well. I mean, we've been focused every week. Obviously, the Texas A&M game on the road, the second game was really like an opener. Just a ton of unknowns, for us and for them, and had some tough plays go against us in the fourth quarter there, and next thing you know, you're in a dogfight, and our guys had to find a way to win, and then just the adversity of the grind of the season. Our guys have handled that very well. They've stayed focused. Obviously, losing a player, having a former player pass away, all within a short span, and the adversity of the Syracuse game. I think you've seen our team respond. So, just really proud of them. They've done a great job to this point, and there'll be more adversity along the way. We had some adversity the other night, but we just go to the next play. It's a 4-quarter game, and we've got a lot of toughness to this team, mentally and physically.
Obviously, we've all enjoyed watching the jumbo package sort of unfold, but what does it say about